Well, we've spent a couple of days this week talking about some properties of light. We've looked especially this week at reflection and refraction. So before we do a big review day tomorrow, let's just hit a topic of our sound, the topic of sound that we've talked about in this unit as well. And so sound is something I enjoy. Don't you love music? I just love listening to music. It just can calm me down if I need to be calmed down. It can pump me up if I need to be pumped up. And sometimes it's just fun to listen. Sometimes we just like to listen to music for enjoyment. And I love music. And this lesson today is kind of a cool lesson. It talks about all the different ways from over 100 years ago, 150 years ago, that engineers designed technology that allows us to enjoy music in our home and then in our cars and now even on our cell phones. So it's come a long way in 150 years. So today's lesson kind of looks at two topics. It looks at sound and music, but it also looks at engineering and technology that allows that music to get to us in different forms. So let's take a look at some of these different forms that music have been used on throughout the years, and then we'll take a look at a video that shows these same things, and I think you'll enjoy the video a lot. This is on page 191 in your science book, if you'd like to turn there with me. Okay, now let's look at this. This kind of looks like a record player, but it's something that you have to turn with your hand, isn't it? This hand-cranked Victrola was one of the first machines to play recorded music on the grooves on a flat disc sent through a sound vibration in a needle. Do any of you have, this is similar to a modern day record player. Modern day, they sell them now to get these albums, these vinyl albums. They use these again now, but have you ever seen one? My daughter really wanted one for Christmas a couple of years ago. She loves vinyls, these vinyl records. Now, when your grandparents were growing up, and when your parents even probably not your parents. I'm older than your parents, I would say, but your grandparents, when they were growing up, they would listen to their music on a record. They called them vinyls or records. We used to call it a record player. And the music would be recorded on this, and it has a little arm and a little needle. And there's, in these little records, these little vinyls, there's grooves, and that needle vibrates and produces the sound in the machine here. So it's really neat. And there were different sizes of records. You had to play them at different speeds. Like I said, my daughter has one now, and she got some old records from FYE at the mall. She's got a Beatles record, and she's got several Beatles records, and she's got some other old Elvis records and things like that. She likes old music. But anyway, that's a record player. This one was kind of like that, except you had to turn it with your hands. So can you imagine if you wanted to hear music, you had to stand and crank it to hear it? Your arm would get tired, wouldn't it? So then electricity comes along, and now the turntable will turn it by itself, and you don't have to crank it anymore. Then, instead of using vinyl records, instead of coming from a physical grooves, the sound on a reel-to-reel player comes from signals recorded on magnetic tape. And some of you may have seen some cassette tapes like this. This is just a huge size magnetic tape, kind of the same kind of tape that's in a cassette tape, but it's these big reels, and so it would play the music through these big reels, and it would come out like that. And then those big reels got smaller, turned into cassette tapes. They're magnetic, like reel to reel, but they're small and portable. So are cassette players. So when I was growing up, the music I got was on these, and I would listen to a big boom box. You've seen the guys carrying boom boxes on their shoulders from like the 80s. That would have been me. I had a big boom box, and I used to record songs off the radio and go back and listen to them. That was a lot of fun. And I have lots of cassette tapes still. I saved them all. I have a whole box full at home. Don't listen to them anymore, but I still have them, because about the time I was in middle school, so it would have been like the early 90s, CDs came out. And compact discs have grooves like records, but the player reads the grooves with a laser beam instead of a needle. So this and this are kind of the same thing, except this is a lot more high tech. It uses a needle, rather a laser to read the grooves on the disc. Most computers have a CD-ROM, the CD drive, where you can actually burn your music onto a CD now. But, technology even improved more than CDs. And now modern cell phones can make calls, search the internet, and play music. Phones and computers can play back MP3 files, and MP3 is a type of a computer file. You know what? If I listen to music, I pretty much listen to music one of three ways now. I'll play it on my phone. A lot of times while I'm here at school, since I don't have any students in my room, when I'm teaching lessons, obviously I can't, but when I'm making all your little forms, your quizzes that you take for a grade, I'll listen to some music while I'm doing that on my phone. If I'm at home, we have a Roku player, and I have Pandora radio on my Roku player. So I'll have it playing a lot of times if I'm working around the house, doing things at home, or I have Sirius satellite radio in my car. So I listen to music all the time in different ways. And technology has sure come a long way from the time when you had to hand crank a record on this old Victrola. Let's talk about how it's improved for a minute, and then I'll let you watch the video. So how is an electric record player an improvement over a hand-cranked Victrola? Well, that's pretty obvious, isn't it? You don't have to stand there and crank it with your hand. Your arm doesn't get so tired. It'll turn by itself. How's a cassette tape an improvement over a reel-to-reel tape? Remember, those reels were big. They were huge, so you couldn't really carry them around. But this, you can carry it around. You can carry the little Walkmans or whatever you had when I was growing up that played those. You can carry them around and use headphones to listen to the music. Also, cars, when these came out, almost every car wanted to have a cassette player in it, so you could listen to your cassettes while you're driving down the road in your car. You have to rewind one of these to go back to the beginning after it plays or listen to a song. How's a CD easier to play? Well, it's digital, so you just push a button, it'll go to whatever song you want. Then what makes MP3 files the most convenient way to play back recorded sound? Well, it's on your phone. You carry it around. You don't have to have anything special to play it on. The internet, the music, the phone calls, everything you need is all in one place. And you just touch the song you want and you can hear it, or make a playlist or whatever you need. You know how to do that better than I do, probably. But it's the most convenient ways. What do you think might be a next device that would be even better? What features might it have? What do you think is going to be the next technology that's going to come out that you can listen to music on? How will it be better than even a cell phone? Can you imagine what it might be? What do you think? It might be one of you that invent it, one of you that want to be an engineer and work with technology. You might be the one that comes up with something even better than a cell phone to listen to music on. I have no idea what it might be. I'm sure something's coming down the road. Okay, so on the next slide, I want you to take a look at this video called From Phonographs to Spotify. You probably don't know what a phonograph is, but you know what Spotify is, I'm sure. So phonographs are even older than that old hand-cranked Victrola. This is one of the very first thing that we could listen to music on. So I think you'll enjoy this video. As you listen to it, think about sound, the properties of sound we've learned about. Think about technology and engineering and how each one of these things have improved how we're able to listen and enjoy music. All right, it's on the next slide. Go to that video now.